October 28th, 2025, and the time is 7 p.m. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? October 28th, 2025, and the time is 7 p.m. Can we please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
An echo.
Sandy. Rudy, can I please get a roll call?
Chairman Hanchey.
Here.
Vice Chair Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Starr.
Here.
Commissioner Mikeland.
Here.
Commissioner Callan.
Commissioner Starr. Here.
Oh, we got to get rid of that echo. We have 6 present, 1 absent, Mr. Chairman. We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Rudy. Sandy, can you mute your phone so we don't get feedback from the audio? Unless
Yeah,
you're talking.
I'll turn the other one off, if that helps.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Barker.
I move
Vice
that
Chair.
the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the agenda as presented and approve the minutes from the October 14, 2025 regular meeting.
Do I have a second? Second. Rudy, I have a motion and a second. Can I please get a roll call?
Chairman Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Mikeland.
Yes.
Commissioner Starr.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage.
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. There's one public hearing this evening, consideration of proposed conditional use permit case P-25-38-CUP for the approval of a 300-unit, 3-story multifamily residential near the southeast corner of Idaho Road in Scenic. Take us away, Nick.
Thank you, Chair Hanchey. Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commission. Again, I'm Nick Loftwich, Senior Planner for the Development Services Department of the City of Apache Junction, and I'll be presenting the case information for the Roers 88 North project. So as was noted, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for the approval to construct a 300-unit, 3-story multifamily residential development that will utilize the low-income housing tax credit program. Just to note, the conditional use permit itself is preoccupied with the land use questions, while the light tech use or the low-income housing tax credit will be primarily a policy question determined by council. To note this, the site is located in the downtown mixed-use section of the general plan. The zoning district of the property is the city center B3 zoning district. It is predominantly surrounded by other B3 properties, but we also see the RM2 multifamily residential zoning district to the south and to the east, as well as the single-family residential RSGR zoning district to the northeast. It is located within the downtown mixed-use area of the general plan. We find that this proposal is consistent with the general plan land use goals, advocating for more multifamily residential uses in order to support the business community downtown as we see that grow. So shown here is a site plan. Again, the 300 units is predominantly a mix of 1 to 4 bedroom apartment, 1 to 4 bedroom unit apartments, predominantly 2 to 3 bedrooms. And with that, there is a required parking count, about 666 parking spaces. They are providing that with 670 parking spaces. So they are meeting all of our parking requirements. They are meeting our landscaping requirements. Their primary entrance is on the south side of the property. Now, it will be primarily accessed off of Idaho through a shared access with a future development, which is still currently under works, has not yet been provided to the Planning and Zoning Commission, but the Bella Norte project currently on works in a partnership, and they are proposing to have a shared access off of Idaho. That would have a deceleration lane, but it is outside the scope of this site plan. There is also a emergency gate and exit. It's a right out only, and that's the need for, if there's a need for like fire circulation, if a fire truck needed to get out, get through, it would only really be open for those purposes. The applicant is also providing plenty of on-site amenities. There's electrical vehicle parking. The 370 of the parking spaces will be covered parking with solar panels on top of that. There is open space with tot lots. There's a clubhouse, and I'll go into the elevations for that in a little bit. A dog park, open spaces, a community pool. One of the things that staff has worked with the applicant to ensure the provision of is a multi-use trail along Idaho, but also along Scenic Street in order to connect with, as we head further east into the more rural area of the city. Some of the other projects within the downtown mixed-use core have already been required to have some kind of paseo or some kind of path for public usage. And this further accommodates that plan. And it is available for public use. As we'll see on the wall plan coming up, it is located on the outside of the community wall. So it is something that Apache Junction residents would be able to pass through in order to get to Idaho, in order to enhance the connectivity of our downtown community, as is shown here. So up on the north side is where this multi-use trail will primarily travel across until it hits Idaho, at which point they'll be continuing that trail. The staff have worked with the applicant through multiple revisions of the elevations in order to provide and ensure a high-quality southwestern feel to the development, appropriate of our downtown vision. So it's gone through multiple revisions, and we believe that this current elevations presented best exemplify the vision that the city council and the general plan we're aiming for with our downtown southwestern feel. And this is shown. There's a variety of different elevation types across the different building types, just variation in the components. And the clubhouse has been designed in like-minded style. So the applicant has complied with all the necessary public notification requirements. There's the signposting, the newspaper ad, the mailings sent to neighbors within 300 feet of the property lines. The applicant held their neighborhood meeting on July 16th, at which point 2 individuals attended the neighborhood meeting, and they were owners of adjacent properties, specifically the multifamily residential ones immediately to the east of the subject site. And they expressed support of the project, but they did note some concerns regarding stormwater and the low-income housing component. And since then, staff has received 1 question regarding the proposed development, confirming that the multi-use trail is publicly accessible, which again, it is. And so with this planning staff and their analysis of the general plan goals and of this proposal, we support the proposed multifamily use at this site as we find it compatible with the goals of the city center zoning district. And we find that it will provide a greater mix of rooftops of housing downtown, which our business community has really spoken up for that they would like more of in order to have a more permanent year-round population in order to support restaurants, services, and all the needs of the community there. And so we do find that this proposed land use is harmonious with the concentrated downtown master plan. And so with this, staff recommends the approval of P2538 CUP, the Roers project, subject to the conditional use permit findings of fact and the full list of conditions noted within the staff report. The applicant does have a presentation tonight and is available to answer questions, and they'll be able to speak more to the specific intricacies of operational details or any questions that you may have for them on that part.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, my name is Greg Davis with Iplan Consulting here on behalf of Roers. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight and thank staff for their presentation, which covers some of what I'll say, so I'll try to skip over that for brevity's sake. But first I wanted to introduce my client, which is Roers Companies, represented in the audience tonight. They'll be available to speak to any kind of questions that you have that I can't answer, but I wanted to introduce them because they're new to the city here. They haven't developed here yet, but they have done quite a bit of work in the 13 years that they've been open. They've been around since 2012. They're based out of Minneapolis in Plymouth, Minnesota, but they've been down here for about 5 years now. And they do all types of development work. They do the entitlement side, which we're here talking about tonight. They'll do construction, and they'll also do property management. And they have quite a bit of experience already built up here in the valley. They've done a project that's operational in Buckeye, one that's operational in Maricopa, and then several others that they're currently working on. And one of the key things that I find important is that they have a long-term ownership. They own each of these properties for 15 years plus. And the reason that's important is because anytime you build something that you're going to own for 15 years, you always do a better job than if you were just building it to sell it. And so they make sure that whatever they build is going to last long. It's going to require minimum maintenance over the years. So as a city or as a community, you can feel better that whatever gets built here is going to be built to the highest standard because they're the ones that are going to have to maintain it for 15 years plus. So it's important to note when you're looking at builders as they come into your community. Nick covered the site pretty well. I did want to point out that we are kind of sandwiched in between two market rate sites. One is the Wolf project that you saw over the summer, I believe, and then the Bella Norte site to the south, which you haven't seen. But both of those are market rate apartments. This is an affordable product, which makes us a little different, and is actually very complementary to what they're doing, which we can help illustrate later with the showing of rents. And the reason that these three projects are here is because the town obviously wants to develop their downtown core and that golden triangle, if you will, of building retail. And the more rooftops, density you have, the more that spurs both the development of it, but also the long-term sustainability of those retail uses. And that's why Roers wants to be here. They feel this is a great site for this specific product. So into the site plan, which we've talked about a little bit, 14 acres is the size, 300 units. So our density is about 22 units per acre. The zoning district allows up to 40, so we're well under that. The height limitation is 60 feet. We're building 3 stories, which comes out to be a little less than 40 feet, so we're compliant with that requirement as well. Parking, Nick covered, so I'll skip that for now. Regarding access, we do gain our primary access from the south. That is a shared access point off of Idaho with the Bella Norte project to the south. The other access point off Idaho, which you can see there, it is intended to be a right-in, right-out, so it'll allow ingress and egress. We have designed it to meet ADOT's requirements as far as spacing and access. It will be a right-in, right-out, though, because of a median planned in Idaho Road. So that's the intent for that process right now. Pedestrian connectivity is also a very important part, especially when we're talking about downtown urban sites. We have 2 direct connections out to Idaho and that public use trail there. We have a connection to the south to the Bella Norte project. And then the trail that Nick was talking about along the north, we have a direct connection to that as well. So our residents will be able to access it without having to go out to Idaho Road. From a setback standpoint, both landscape and building, we exceed all the requirements. We're exceeding all of the building code requirements as far as the setbacks are concerned. And I want to point out the setback along the east side. That's the one property line that we do share with other landowners, and so we did provide an extra 50 feet of building setback in that location. There's nothing that's built immediately right up to our shared property line, but there's a vacant parcel and there's room for those other parcels to grow, so we just wanted to make sure we were considerate to those uses since our buildings are 3 stories in height. The architecture we talked about a little bit. I do want to point out that Roers does a really good job undulating the roof lines and jogging their footprints. And what that does, it helps break up the massing. Typically, these large 3-story buildings can have a very flat, bland face on them. But by undulating those elements, you really change that. You create a lot of shadow, shade and shadow, which helps give you a 3D element to it. And so when you're looking from a human perspective, you see a lot of different lines and elements from the roof. It really breaks up that big building that otherwise could look fairly stark. And Nick mentioned that we've been through a few iterations trying to get the magic clue of what Western architecture is. We met with the council, and everyone, I think, had a different opinion of what that might look like. This is kind of what we settled on. What I think the architects drew upon is there's a lot of different elements that feel Western. And we may not be able to make a 3-story apartment building look Western, but we can certainly introduce a lot of those elements to these buildings. So I've just kind of highlighted a few that show that we've incorporated these elements into the buildings so that they carry through and have that flavor. So we're talking about vertical board and batting, which feels like a barn. We have corrugated steel, which you'd find a trough out in the field. You have metal standing seam awnings and the use of brick because this is an urban area. So hopefully we've hit the mark close enough in that regard. But we do have 3 different types of residential buildings that carry those elements all the way through. And here's the third one. The last building, which Nick also showed you, is our community clubhouse. This holds the leasing office, has meeting rooms, the fitness center for the residents, et cetera. So talking about open space, we do have that community clubhouse, but we also have other areas. We have our primary park, which is right behind the clubhouse. We have 2 passive parks on the east side. We also have a dedicated dog park, and we located the dog park on the west side of the buildings so that the noise would be abated from traveling to the east. Again, trying to be respectful to our neighbors. The primary park, which as you can see below up here, is fully amenitized. This project does not skimp on any of the amenities, even though it has an affordable component to it. So it has a full swimming pool, sun deck, change room, ramadas, playground for the kids, turf areas for cornhole, bocce, etc. The wall plan, which Nick pulled up, I want to point out just one thing. We try to push our buildings to the perimeter to add interest along the streetscape, because we don't like the projects that have just solid walls along there. So when you have, you see on the west side along Idaho, you have a solid blue line and a purple line. The blue line, we do like solid walls when we're blocking parking views, dumpsters, things like that. But the rest of it, where we have our architecture, we like to have view fencing. So as people travel down the street, whether they're driving or on the sidewalk, they have a better streetscape experience. They're looking at architecture, not just a solid 6-foot wall. So now I'd like to talk about the LIHTC portion of it, the affordable component. I'm sure you have lots of questions about what that is, and I probably won't answer all of them as part of this presentation, but like I said, we'd be glad to talk about those in more detail. But in general, it's a affordability program that uses tax credits, and all of us are familiar with affordable housing in one sense or another. It's been around since the 60s that I'm aware of. Growing up in the Midwest, we had a lot of government-built affordable housing that didn't do so well, didn't fare so well over time. A lot of them had been torn down. And then they went to like a voucher program like Section 8, et cetera, and that had problems associated with it as well. So now they've evolved into a program that's called LIHTC, Section 42, I believe, and it started in '86 but was adopted in '93. And what it does is it actually incentivizes the construction part of it so that it doesn't have to give money to potential users or to developers directly. It offsets the cost of construction, which we can explain in more detail here. But basically, it uses the federal tax credits to ultimately refund the investment of the investors, and then the developer commits to a long-term reduced rental rate that's set by HUD. So I'll show that on the next slide here. So the rates for rent are set by the Department of Housing and Urban Development Hub, and they vary by location, but those are prescripted by them. So any project that's part of this program can't dictate their own rents. These are rents that are established by them, and these are the rents that were applicable for this area for 2025. You can see the 1 through 4 bedroom there. And one thing to note that's pretty important is that this includes all the utilities. So you might say that 1 bedroom isn't much cheaper than what a market rate is, but when you include the utilities as part of it, it's at least 20 to 30% cheaper than what other market rate housing programs can offer for that product. And that's the real incentive here, because that 20% that people save can be used for disposable income, can be used to save money for saving up for a house, for another housing opportunity, whatever it may be, or if they're just getting by, they're going to be able to find a market rate lifestyle that's 20 to 30% over what's offered next door. And that's the real value, the real incentive of this program. The other side of it is the application and acceptance. So again, HUD sets the standard about who can qualify for these programs, and they base it upon the 60% of the median income for an area. So again, applied to this area on the screen there, you can see what those income limits are. And they're stratified by household type as well. And so if you're a single person that just out of college and you're struggling, this is the income level that you can have: 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, et cetera. So those are the major general parameters that who can qualify, what you're going to pay for rent. Everything else, as far as criminal background checks and everything else that a market rate project would look at, this project also does. So it looks and lives just like a normal market rate project. And that's the benefit to the community, is that you get to offer the citizens in need in your community an opportunity to have housing, but the housing doesn't look different. It doesn't live different. So no one can tell that this is an affordable housing project. And so that's the real value of this program, and that's something that Roers specializes in. So with that, I'd open up the questions, 'cause I'm sure you have some for this slide tech.
Thank you. I'll start off. I got one question. When you say all utilities are included, what are the utilities actually?
All right, I'm going to invite someone from Roers up if you'd like. So I know I'd probably miss one. All right, Pete Schroeder with Roers.
Hey, thank you for having me this evening. So all utilities would include like electric, gas, water, sewer, trash, everything that tenants would be responsible for in a market rate community.
Internet, cable.
So internet, we provide it. We don't profit from it. We use a third-party provider, and they can opt into it if they want, and they would have to pay them directly. But we don't cover that for the resident.
What about cable, TV, or?
It would be the same thing as internet.
I just want to see what's all included.
Yeah, it's mostly just like electric, gas, water, sewer, the big
That's
ticket
understandable.
items.
I just wanted to make sure for clarification.
Yep.
Commissioner Starr?
As utility rates climb, like electrical and sewer and so forth, are you gonna, is it gonna change your rent structure when the utility rates increase?
It won't. So as Greg mentioned, the rents are set each year. And then a big part of our project is we utilize solar on top of all the carports, which with that, there's big cost decreases with the electric. And for most of our projects, and this one specifically as well, basically all utilities are electric. So then the solar will offset that. So the utility bills won't be as high. And it's a big investment on the front end, but over time, we realize those savings just because solar will offset that.
So you're saying that the rates are gonna change every year based on the changes in the utilities?
The rental rates are determined by HUD every year, but we will always cover the utilities for the tenants. We will never turn back and put it on them.
Commissioner Gage?
How often do your tenants have to qualify? Is it an annual
Yep, that's a great
income check
question.
that they have to go through?
Yep. So on the front end, when you first qualify, there's a pretty extensive process, application and providing all your bank statements, tax forms, and whatnot, proving you meet the qualifications. And then it is state dependent, but in Arizona, we usually ask for self-certifications, which we've gotten approval on that in the past, where essentially they just need to self-certify each year after they qualify to say they meet the income threshold.
Okay.
Commissioner Barker?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. I think you answered all the questions that I had on low-income tax credits. So everyone in this development who rents will need the maximum income level for their type of dwelling. 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, whatever.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
That was a question that I had. And my other questions are really with the site plan. Will the-
Betcha.
will the
I'll go back.
property- Will the property management live in the area, or will they be outside it?
Yeah, we will not have a property management unit, so they won't live on site, but typically we hire from the direct area.
And you talked about the northwest entrance exit. Nick had said that was for emergencies. Is it for emergencies, or is it open for folks to go in and out of that?
Vice Chair Barker, our intent is that it wouldn't be restricted. It would be right in, right out, but it would be allowed for access. That's at least the feedback we've gotten so far, but as we get into the final documents, ADOT has to put their final blessing on it. They may change that. It can operate as an emergency only, but we'd like to keep it open just because it allows people to get in and out of the
Right,
community
it
better.
gives you another entrance
Yeah,
option.
and I apologize,
especially
Nick, that
if
if
you're in
we
the back.
wasn't clear. to staff, but that's our intent for that.
No problem. And I guess my last comment is thank you for no walls or few walls. Thank you. No more tunnel.
Our pleasure.
I do have a structural one. On the one drawing, it said the parapets, I believe, were 38-foot max. But what are the peaks? Or are you meaning that for the peaks as well?
We have our architect here, I'm sure would love to answer that question. He came all the way out here from Phoenix, so
Yeah.
the plans don't call him out that I see it. The question for staff, do you guys measure building height to the mid-ridge or the peak okay. They're working on it. My guess is that would probably be about 45 feet, right? If they're 38 feet.
Center one's much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you consider that peak a part of the parapet, or...
Technically, I don't think staff would make that differentiation. If the measurement of building height is to the highest point of the roof, then that would be the peak. So
Yeah.
our building height isn't 40 feet, it's going to be 45 feet. So
I was just
we'll correct
curious
that
because
moving
we
forward.
didn't have that on there. And
Yeah, no, that's.
I mean,
good-
we're still within
good
the
comment.
guidelines, but
That change was probably the last change architecturally, so we were rushing to get it on there, but we'll lock it in there. The building height allotment is 60 feet, so we're well under that, but
Right.
thank you for calling that out
yeah, I
for
just
us.
want to know.
No, great comment.
I noticed there's no elevators. Is there any handicap provisions in the complex?
Yeah, we do have 88 units, so the Arizona Department of Housing requires certain 88 units to be on site.
Excuse me. They're all ground floor units
And they're
then?
all ground
I understand.
Commissioner Michelin, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. I heard him say that during the qualification process, they do their paperwork. And then did I understand that after that, they self-certify, what exactly does that mean?
So the self-certification process, we do need approval from the state, I guess I've done that before, so it's basically filling out a form, just saying that everything you fill out the form is accurate, and then signing it, basically self-certifying that.
And that's like an annual,
And that would be
ongoing.
after the first year.
Okay.
And then, so, obviously, new tenants have to do it each time they apply. But moving forward, if the state said, we want full certifications, then they have to go through the initial process of getting state rights.
Thank you.
How do you handle room loading? I mean, somebody rents a two-bedroom, but they have 4 people living in it?
We do have restrictions on that, so we can't buy it. So, obviously, it depends on the family structure, the wife, husband, 2 kids, but we want to allow
Commissioner Michelin, do you have any more questions?
I don't think so, although I will tell you that if he's not speaking into the mic, it's really hard to hear what he said. I think I heard him say that the self-certification, then they fill out paperwork. So my question would be, does anybody spot check that occasionally? Because I can see areas for abuse there.
Yeah, and it's better.
Is it on?
Is it on?
Sandy, that good?
That's better.
Look at that.
Yes, now I can hear it. I can hear now.
So on the self-certification, we do have an in-house compliance department as well. So obviously, they would have to renew, if they choose to renew the lease, we start that paperwork 120 days before the lease renews, and then it would go back to our in-house compliance team to kind of review all the paperwork.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a comment. I appreciate that you've managed to fit this development inside the property without having to modify the setbacks. And I don't have to spar with Sydney over setbacks. on this one.
And full park.
Appreciate this. Yeah, and the parking too.
See, we
That's
have a
great.
dog park, we've met setbacks, we don't have a fence all the way around it. I mean, what more could we ask for?
Commissioners, I don't want to spar with the commissioners ever. I only spar with Joel.
Yeah, I feel that's coming in a few minutes here.
All right, thank you. All right. So this is a public meeting, so I'm going to open it up to the public at this time. I'm going to remind everybody before I do that you have 3 minutes. When you come up, please state your name and address into the mic. And at this time, I'm now going to open it.
Mr. Chairman, is it okay if I go first?
Sure.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Reese Anderson, and for your record, my address is 1744 South Val Vista. I'm here tonight on behalf of Bellaflor Communities, which owns the property just to the south and is one of the largest landowners in downtown Apache Junction. So they really care about this project, how it looks, it feels. And just on a personal level, I've worked with Roers before on other projects, and they're a great company. So we're honored to be partnering with them here this evening. We'd urge your support. We're in full support of it as the adjacent landowner. And we'll look forward to working with you on the Bella Norte project, which will shortly be in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Hi there. My name is Jeffrey Fitzwater Castle. I'm a resident of Apache Junction going over 4 years now. I live just off of Tomahawk Road and Southern Avenue. My address is 1414 East, 25th Avenue, apartment number 2. I am speaking in support of this project. If you've ever been down in the area that I live in, you can probably see those buildings are well over 40 years old. Many of them are not well maintained. It is actually the county island, I will just say that, and they do not maintain our roads whatsoever. So they're full of potholes and cracks, and I have brothers in high school. I live with my father and my 2 brothers in high school, and when they come of age, it would be nice to know that there is affordable housing in the community. I think it's very important for the midterm and the long term that projects like these are supported. I'm glad to hear that they have support for the utilities, especially with the solar being generated on site from the covered parking lots. And I think this is it's good because it keeps people from going and living out in, say, Mesa or Gilbert or Chandler, and it keeps us having a good solid year-round community. Especially, I've talked with some of the business owners, and one of the biggest issues is when it's summertime, everybody goes. So I support this project, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Going once, going twice. Now close out the public portion. Right.
Findings of facts?
Yeah, we need to move on to the finding of facts for this one.
Do you want to do it? You want me to do it? Okay.
You volunteered.
Okay. Okay, the adequacy of roads, off-street parking, public facilities and services to accommodate the proposed use.
I think it has adequate parking. They've actually exceeded our goal.
Yes, they have. Yeah, I agree. Number 2, negative impacts arising from emissions of odor, dust, gas, noise, lighting, vibration, smoke, heat, or glare. I don't see that any of that is applicable.
Nope, and I think they'll actually, in the long term, reduce. There'll be no more dust coming up off of it.
Oh, yeah, the dust will come right behind them. Yeah, all right. 3, contribution to the deterioration of the neighborhood or the negative impact on neighborhood property values has, no.
It'll actually increase.
Yeah. 4 is compatibility with surrounding areas and structures.
No, it'll perfect for the downtown. It's what we want.
5, conformance with the general plan and city policies.
Yes.
6, screening and buffering of uses.
Yes, they're giving you your view fence.
Yes, they are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 7, unique nature of the property, use and/or development's physical characteristics.
Yes,
I think
it blends
that's
in.
applicable. Yeah. The finding of facts looks good.
It does. I'll read the motion.
Go for it.
I move the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Apache Junction City Council the approval of the proposed conditional use permit case P-25-38-CUP. A request by Greg Davis of Iplan Consulting on behalf of Roers Companies for a 300-unit, 3-story residential rental community located near the southeast corner of Idaho Road and Scenic Street, Zone Center City D-3, subject to
10.
the,
It's
10 conditions.
Second.
Rudy, I have a motion and a second. Can I please get a roll call?
Commissioner Mikeland,
No.
Commissioner Starr,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Chairman Hanchey.
Yes.
4 in favor, 1 against. The motion passes, Mr. Chairman. Your recommendation will go on to the City Council for their final decision. Nick, it's going to council on what date? December 2nd?
Thank you, Rudy. There's no old business this evening, no new business. Commissioners don't have anything to report. Rudy, do you have anything to report?
I would just like to say congratulations to our reappointed commissioners, you, Mr. Chairman, you, Vice Chair Barker, and I would like to introduce our newly appointed commissioner, Nicholas Kelly, who will be joining us for the first time at your meeting in November. I'm not sure if it's the first meeting or the second meeting, but we welcome our new commissioner on board. He, of course, is taking over for the commissioner that vacated a seat, and lots of fun and exciting stuff to come.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And to you.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Do we have a motion for the next meetings?
Mr. Chair,
Vice Chair?
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a regular meeting on November 25th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard. In the event there are no items to be brought forward to the Commission, these meetings may be canceled, notification of cancellation properly posted, and the Commission notified by staff.
I'll second it. Rudy, I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Starr,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker,
Yes.
Chairman Nanchi,
Yes.
Commissioner Mikeland.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. I now adjourn the meeting at 7:41 p.m.